Coming up on Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk, training camp is right around the corner, and we look at the offense to find out where the biggest position battles might be. Also, we turn to the defensive side of the ball for a further evaluation of the roster. And then, which players are right in the bubble and need to make an impact on special teams just to make the roster. We'll talk about all this and more coming up next. Good evening and welcome to Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in today. Now what a beautiful day it is outside. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and right up the highway, just about 45 minutes north of Kansas City, Missouri, we have training camp going on. And you know what that means, folks. That means we are getting that much closer to football. And when I think training camp, the first thing that comes to my mind is position battles. Let's go ahead and start things off on the offense. Now, over the offseason, Brett Veach, he saw what happened in the Super Bowl when Tampa Bay's defense just absolutely had their way with the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs. And he took action. And kudos to him. He took a lot of action and he administered a complete overhaul on the offensive line. The left side is locked down after he acquired Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle from the Baltimore Ravens, and then Joe Thuney he acquired in free agency, formerly of the New England Patriots, and he locks down the left guard position. Now, the right side of the line and center will be decided during camp. Now, he picked up a lot of veterans in the offseason, and Brett Veach picked up Kyle Long, who likes to play guard most of the time, and then he also picked up Austin Blythe, both in free agency, and Austin Blythe plays center. And then we have returning veterans like Laurent Darbinet-Tardif, who is the Canadian doctor who took a year off to do his doctoral duties and fight on the front lines of COVID-19. And kudos to him. He got like Humanitarian of the Year award, and he absolutely deserves it. And then Mike Rimmers at right tackle, who got dismantled and it just got shredded in the Super Bowl time after time after time. And then we got rookies like Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Lucas Niang, which Lucas Niang is not a traditional rookie. He opted out of the season last year due to COVID-19, which is his choice. He had personal reasons for doing so. But this is his second year technically, but his first year trying to establish himself within the team and find a role within this team. So all those guys, it might seem like a lot, and that's because it is. There's a lot of guys. There's 7 of them. Kyle Long, Austin Blythe, Laurent Darbinet-Tardif, Mike Rimmers, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Lucas Niang. And they've all got a legitimate shot at 3 positions. The center, the right guard, and the right tackle. They're all fighting for just 3 positions. So a lot of competition on that whole right side. And I believe the whole right side is open. It's absolutely open, which is great to see, seeing how we have a $500 million quarterback that they're supposed to be protecting. Wide receiver is another position of interest. The wide receiver 2 position is wide open. Sammy Watkins is gone. But who's going to step up and replace him? Demarcus Robinson's been around for years now and has been in a prime position to take that role, but he doesn't seem to capitalize on the opportunities that he's given. McCole Hardman's in his 3rd year now, and he needs to find a role other than just being fast. And you know, it's been noted, and he's told the media that he's really focused on route running this year. I really do hope that he focuses in and takes that next step into that number 2 position. We do have the rookie, Cornell Powell, and he's been showing out in rookie mini camps, and he's got his peers, his own peers. He's got them talking about him, and the dude's just got hands. He's got nasty hands. He'll catch just anything thrown in his general area, and he can high point the ball incredibly well, and he has a legitimate shot. And then then there's the fan favorite, Byron Pringle. And I'm not sure if Byron Pringle is gonna have a legitimate shot at that number 2 wide receiver position, but he definitely has a role on this team. He's a huge special teams contributor, and when Coach Reed calls Pringle's number, he always seems to step up and fulfill his job. He does his job. So number 2 wide receiver position is pretty much open. That's going to be a good competition to watch. When we come back to Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk, we'll break down the defensive side of the ball and find some of the most intriguing training camp battles. And then we'll take a look at who sits on the bubble but could possibly still make the team due to special teams contribution. All this and more right after the break. Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, do me a quick favor. Go ahead, hit that share button. It takes like 5 seconds and it's completely free to do, so why wouldn't you? If you're on YouTube, smash the subscribe button and then hit that notification bell to get alerts when I produce new content. And then finally, if you are on Facebook, go to the Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk page, like the page, and then hit the follow button and you'll get notifications there as well. Alright, let's get back to the show. Oh, and as always, stay legendary, my friends. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Let's just dive right into the defensive side of things, and we'll start with the linebacker position. Last year, it was Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson. Damian Wilson left for free agency, and so I expect Willie Gay Jr. to take over for Wilson. Now, let's not forget Ben Niemann. Ben Niemann is very familiar with the defense and Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and has a legitimate shot of starting over Willie Gay Jr. to begin the season. Now, I know that's a very unpopular decision or opinion. That's okay. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Ultimately, though, I think it's going to be Nick Bolton, who is a draft pick from this year, and Willie Gay Jr. that end up taking, by the end of the season, it'll be Nick Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. in the inside linebacker positions, in the Sam position and in the Mike position, or Sam linebacker, Mike linebacker. So that's just one thing to watch for out at camp, to see kind of how that unfolds. I guess it's exciting to me. I think it'll be very exciting to see how that unfolds. Will Willie Gay Jr. take that step coming into his second year? Will he take that step going forward? Can he process this defense fast enough, or the offense fast enough, to communicate to the defense and be that quarterback of the defense, so to speak? And, how does Nick Bolton kind of work out? He's an exciting player on film, but, Andy Reid is notorious for holding his rookies back and letting them learn the playbook, letting them learn the defense or the offense, and just letting them take that first year to really process everything and get sped up. So will Nick Bolton get a legitimate chance to be on the field this year? I'm not sure. but I'm sure his actions at training camp will definitely tell us. So just keep your eyes out on that. Look, cornerback is one of the thinnest positions I've on the whole roster. Quarterback's one of the thinnest positions I've ever seen. And I know like the past couple years it's been thin as well, and obviously Steve Spagnuolo doesn't really prioritize cornerbacks, and he thinks that he can get them off the street, which he basically has. And so my eyes are always on the cornerback position. And right now, it's Charvarius Ward on one side. That's a lock. Charvarius Ward, cornerback number 1. L'Jarius Sneed is more than likely going to be the quarterback number 2. But when we run sub packages, Steve Spagnuolo likes to bring L'Jarius Sneed from that island and put him in the slot position, where he's proven that he can be very successful in the slot position, in the slot cornerback position. So who takes over that island on the other side of Ward when those sub packages are in play? We've got Rashad Fitton. There's Bo Pete Keys in there in competition as well. But who I'm really interested in is the former first-round pick, DeAndre Baker, who last year, when he finally got into play in the last game of the season, got injured and broke his femur. And so he didn't really get a chance to, he's got incredible talent, and I really think that he would fit into this system really, really well. And so he is almost 100%. About a month ago, he said he was about 90% recovered from his injury. And so I'm really, really excited about getting to see the former first rounder, DeAndre Baker, out there on the field and see if he can find a spot, find a role on this defense. And maybe he can be that slot receiver or that slot cornerback. So, and all those guys, they're all battling. Rashad Fitton, Bo Pete Keys, DeAndre Baker, they're all battling for that spot there. So while the quarterback position does seem kind of thin, I think that we are in a lot better shape than what most casual fans believe that we're in. So don't worry too much about the cornerback position. It's just going to be an interesting position to watch during camp. I wanted to bring up the defensive line. All right. And a lot of people are saying defensive line is going to be a huge competition, just like the offensive line. I absolutely disagree with that. Defensive line is not really a competition at all. It's more of a rotation of players. All these guys that everyone says that they're in competition, that Chris Jones, Taco Charlton, Mike Dana, Derek Nottie, Tim Ward, and even Frank Clark, even though his future is kind of up in the air. We don't know what the organization's going to do with him. All those guys are in rotation. We'll keep them fresh, and they will rotate in and out. They all have strengths and weaknesses that, quite frankly, Steve Spagnuolo uses very, very well. He uses very, very well. He plays to each player's strengths very, very well. So I don't think, not at all do I think the defensive line is a competition. I think it's strong. I think it's a strong line, but I don't think it's a competition. Look, to wrap things up, I just wanted to kind of do a couple bonus players to watch for. All right, so Marcus Kemp, we're all pretty familiar with Marcus Kemp. These are guys that are probably going to need to perform on the special teams to make the roster, to find a way onto the roster. Marcus Kemp, he's phenomenal at it. He's a pretty decent wide receiver. And when his number's called, he usually comes through, and he's phenomenal special teamer. And he's one of those guys that just gives his all on every single play. So yeah, watch out for Marcus Kemp, man. I think he's gonna He's gonna have a special role on this team between special teams and in the offense at wide receiver. Ben Neiman, I mentioned earlier. Ben Neiman is one of those guys that if he's not on the defense, on the starting lineup, he'll make his bread and butter on the special teams. He's just one of those, just like Marcus Kim. He's one of those guys that just do what he's asked. He does his job, and he gives his all every single play. And he's not necessarily the most athletic of the bunch, but he has heart. He has a lot of heart. And so he will make his money on the special teams. Byron Pringle. Now, Byron Pringle's kind of my sleeper. He's a little bit of my sleeper for that wide receiver number 2 position. If he doesn't find a role within the wide receiver group, and he doesn't make that step into that, I believe he makes his bread and butter on the special teams. He makes his living on the special teams, and he's good at it. He's absolutely phenomenal at it. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is the tight end position. Now I say tight end, and we're talking about position battles, and we all know that Travis Kelce is tight end number 1. Blake Bell was recently acquired this offseason, who is notorious for being a blocking tight end. But the one I'm interested in, the player I'm interested in, is our rookie, Noah Gray. And everyone, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, have all praised Noah Gray. He has the athletic ability to play just like Travis Kelce and is also a very good run blocker. That makes me excited. Not that I think that Noah Gray is going to take over Travis Kelce's spot anytime soon, but it does make me excited because if you remember in 2018, we saw a lot of 3 tight end sets that Kareem Hunt at the time was able to run behind, and it caused a lot of chaos in that front 7 of the defense. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see if Noah Gray can develop into what everyone seems to hope for him and develop into the expectations that are set for him. Well, that does it for me. I really enjoy talking football with y'all, and I absolutely love what I get to do. Check out my page for more content, and until next time, stay legendary, my friends.